Hello guys, welcome back to another episode of KSP Resurgence. Today we are expanding the colony we established in the previous episode. I did cut a lot of that stuff out because if I put it all in, it'd be too many minutes long. It'd be too long. I don't want to have a lot of filler in my episodes. And besides, I don't want to have 2 episodes of just expanding a colony just because I feel like that'd be kind of boring. Besides, next episode is going to be a big one because we are finally assembling another interplanetary vehicle. We're going to be assembling a fusion-powered one that I designed in a live stream that I did previously. If you haven't seen it, well, I wouldn't blame you. It's 2 hours long, but please, go at least watch some of it. I probably should have used an advanced fission engine instead, just because harvesting the uranium would have been 10 times easier. I did have to make a few edits to the configs that I have for Kerbal colonies, just because, well, the configs I did have made mining deuterium a huge pain. Helium-3 wasn't too difficult, it just had you mine it straight from the dirt. Because if you go to the moon, you can harvest helium-3 by harvesting it from the regolith, or the aka moon dirt, so that's pretty cool. It's a real concept, I think. Could be. I'm saying I think because I could be wrong, even though I think I'm probably right. So I put this 4 videos in one thing together on my video editor, just to go over 4 launches of a crew transport. Just because we need a lot of engineers to have all the mines be working, have all the vehicle assembly buildings, all the ISRU plants working. I mean, my main gripe with Kerbal colonies is that that the storage facilities rapidly fill up and they're not grouped into one. So, say if one tank fills up, the ISRU pretends that another completely empty storage facility doesn't exist. It pretends the other facility does not exist. Which is really annoying. I have to keep emptying my tanks just so I can keep making fuel. I mean, my initial set of configs I did get added a warehouse facility that's essentially a bigger and better storage facility. I mean, it would have been nice to know that when I actually created the colony. Oh well. So, as you can see, we are landing on the colony now. Well, I'm looking at the bottom left one. These videos are of course different videos, so they have different lengths and different landing times, but I did have to cut a little bit out just because I did fail a couple attempts and had to load a quick save. So you can also see which clips are the older ones by seeing how smaller the colony is. Like the bottom right one had a lower tier domes, lower tier barracks facilities. Pretty cool. I did cut a lot of the expanding the colony part out just because, well, I previously stated that it would make this episode way too long, and I don't want to do 2 episodes featuring expanding a colony with Kerbal colonies because, to be honest, it's kind of monotonous at times. But I will have a little bit in it just to show you guys I'm not cheating. Well, to be honest, I kind of did cheat. I did edit the recipes a bit just to make the deuterium easier to obtain, because the way the configs originally came, I originally had to split water to get the gaseous forms of hydrogen, oxygen, and deuterium, and that would explode my tanks. It filled them up so rapidly I had to keep deleting the excess resources. And my liquefiers, they wouldn't work fast enough, so it was kind of annoying. So, thankfully, I was able to get that figured out for a while, but in the end, after like half an hour of deuterium grinding, I only got 6 liquid deuterium. I mean, that's great and all, but I need 1,000 for this. So, I was able to find a recipe that just takes it directly to a liquid... The water takes it directly to liquid hydrogen and liquid oxygen, and liquid deuterium. I mean, there is another recipe for that, but it has oxidizer instead. It was locked behind the real fuels. It had a dependency, so I needed real fuels to use it. But I do have chemical technologies, which is kind of like real fuels, so I just deleted that part and I have the recipe now. I did also buff the amount of liquid deuterium just because I didn't want it to take too long. And also, deuterium should be somewhat easy to get. I want fusion fuel to be not the easiest thing to obtain, but not like a huge grind. So I feel like what I got at the end was a pretty nice result. I was tired of waiting, so I did send up a bunch of deuterium. I didn't send any helium-3 though. Deuterium is 5 times, I believe it's 5 times less expensive than helium-3. Well, a full tank of deuterium would be less expensive, 5 times less expensive than a tank of helium-3. Besides, the helium-3 didn't have an issue. I was able to mine it pretty well. And if I did send up a whole tank of helium-3, the tank would have been more expensive than the rocket that sent up the deuterium, like the entire rocket. So I wouldn't consider that cheating. I am playing in science mode, so I don't have to worry about money or anything. But I still try to keep things within the level of realism. Deuterium is quite abundant in the real world, on Earth. You just gotta look in water and you'll find quite a bit. Helium-3 is like one of the rarest isotopes in the universe, so thankfully there should be a lot of it on the moon, so that's what makes mining helium-3 here somewhat realistic. So in Kerbal colonies, the mining facilities, you can place at least one engineer in it to work, but if you place more in there, it'll mine way faster. And of course, you can upgrade it to increase the flat mining rate. So even if you have one engineer, I think giving an upgrade will increase that amount. But it'll also give you more slots for Kerbals, so you can put more engineers in there and be able to get way more ore and stuff. Now, the main difficulty I had with this was giving it all the engineers because the astronaut complex kept giving me scientists and pilots. I want engineers. I mean, I was able to get some, just a couple of engineers from my Kerbal applications, but I think that was it. Just a couple. And by the way, if you do want to appear in this series as a Kerbal, there's a form in the descriptions. You can fill it out, and I'll add you to the series. I'll probably make you an engineer, unless you're a notable KSP player. Then there's an additional option to have you choose what role you want. Now, my main gripe with the ISRU facilities is that they have to be filled to the brim with Kerbals. Like, they need the maximum amount in order to work, which I find to be really, really annoying. Like, why does that even have to be like that? I have to waste all my engineers who would be better spent going into the mines, working to make rocket parts. It's just a minor annoyance. And also, there's another gripe I have with Kerbal colonies is sometimes the Kerbal constructs buildings, like say, upgrade a tank facility to the maximum level, so I get those 2 white cryogenic tanks. But then I load a quick save and it goes back to the level 1 tanks. The game still thinks it's level 3, but it looks like a level 1 structure. And since it's a maximum level, I can't upgrade it and fix it, because upgrading a facility that's bugged like that does make it go to its correct level. So I'm glad that there's a minor fix, but sometimes it can't upgrade because it's at the maximum level. Which is really annoying sometimes. Another thing you can do is have a science facility in Kerbal colonies, but the rate at science it makes is somewhat slow, and also you need xenon to make it for some reason. I was able to mine some because apparently splitting hydrates gives you xenon and argon, so that's pretty cool. I mean, I was a bit worried about these recipes because they all used oxidizer, which is a deprecated resource with chemical technologies. But thankfully, with all the other recipes added, it was actually somewhat manageable. Though I did make a few tweaks just to make deuterium easier to get. I also did make an ore to hydrogen recipe later, just because I wanted to get hydrogen easier. I mean, Cryogenic tanks does add an ISRU feature to convert ore straight into hydrogen and methane and other stuff. And I was like, why isn't this a recipe in the ISRU here? So I just added it myself. I did try to make a set of configs for this revolving around chemical technologies. I stopped working on it just because I was working on other things, like this YouTube channel and stuff. And to be honest, I'm also sorry that this episode took longer to make. I've just been really busy, and to be honest, the whole process of making a colony is actually somewhat tedious. The episode should be coming out somewhat faster now, thankfully. Or not, because I have school now. So that's a minor inconvenience. With Kerbal colonies, you can easily upgrade facilities. All you need are a few rocket parts and some more. And with all the ore and metal ore around us, it's pretty easy. For the real eagle eye, you may notice that this colony is in an entirely different place from the one I made last episode. And that's because there's a weird glitch with Kerbal colonies. So, my original colony, it tried to mine metal ore. But metal ore isn't even used by extraplanetary launch pads. It uses metallic ore. So thankfully there's a fix that was able to fix it, but it didn't, because the mines are bugged, and when you change the materials they can mine, they freak out and can't mine anything anymore. So I had to revert to before I made the colony, and then I built a new colony. So, and also for that reason, I think a few Kerbals I made were deleted, so if you can't find your Kerbals, maybe that's why. I am moving this dome back a little bit just because it's in a weird spot. But this was before I discovered the edit groups page in Kerbal constructs, so it made it like 10,000 times easier to move things. If you're still here, then that means you probably really like my videos, so please like and subscribe, I'll greatly appreciate it. So, next episode I'll probably be going to the... Oh wait. Yeah, I accidentally clipped the launch pad into my lander, and I had to revert it back. Unfortunately, when I did load the quick save, it actually saved the structure location, so I kept blowing up. So I had to cheat a little bit just to disable collisions. Well, not collisions, just disable crash damage and stuff. As I was saying, next episode I'm probably gonna do a Trom 4, a Trom System Grand Tour. Trom is a oblate dwarf planet added in Celestial Harmony. Has a few moons too, which is gonna be really fun. I might also make another interplanetary vehicle when I unlock some better fission engines, just so I can go to multiple places at once. But then again, if I do have plenty of deuterium, if I can get like enough helium-3 in a short span of time, I might make another Tenacity. Oh yeah, by the way, the interplanetary vehicle's name, I've decided to name it Tenacity. I thought it was a good name, especially since I needed some tenacity to keep making these videos. I designed Tenacity on my previous live stream. It was okay. It's an okay live stream. It was my very first one, so there are some issues. I really like Krob. I like the crystals. I like the geodes. It's pretty cool. So, like I said previously, deuterium was a huge pain to get. So eventually, I just decided to send it up myself to the colony. Deuterium isn't that expensive, so it's within the realm of realism. So I won't be bankrupted 5 times over if I were doing this on career. You know, I'm not sending up any Helium-3, it's just Deuterium, I must reiterate. Just so none of you can say, hey, he's cheating, he's sending up the most expensive resource in the game. It's probably not the most expensive resource, that would probably be antimatter. Which may actually not be the hardest to get, just because the Nova antimatter facility exists. And like I said previously, getting uranium and therefore fission pellets for the heavy particles mode on the antimatter facility will actually be pretty easy. I really wish I could get space dust working, but it doesn't work well with system replacers. You know, if you can get space dust working with a system replacer like this, I love that. If you know what you're talking about, please contact me. I will. I'm not really qualified to help you out, but I'll give you a Kerbal. I'll make a rocket after you. If you just add space dust compatibility to this mod, please. I will reward you. So, this is a little weird lander I made. The landing wasn't the best considering I landed on a hill. And also it was really hard to do because I was at a communications distance. And also please ignore the floating grass. And also just ignore the grass because we can't have grass growing in space. It's turf, it's fake grass. Anyway, we actually managed to land, so now I can transfer the deuterium. I might have been able to transfer the deuterium in while I was just nearby, even in the air, but I feel like that'd be cheating. I can't. I don't want this near the. I don't want this near the colony just because when there are multiple vessels with engines nearby, it tweaks my time warp up. It's really annoying. Persistent Thrust is a great mod for a low TWR craft, but it's super buggy. Whenever there's more than 2 vessels in physics range, you can't time warp. It's super annoying. And you can't time warp, you just have to wait a while for some reason. So, Kerbal Colonies, I say it's a great mod. I highly recommend it for any playthroughs, just because it makes establishing a colony and building your building vessels from a colony really easy. And I believe this is a part where you load Tenacity. There it is, in all its glory, Tenacity. To actually load a vessel, you'll actually have to go to the VAB and set it as a launch. Set your colony as a launch site. Well, you set your launch pad as a launch site, and after you launch it, it'll put you back in the Kerbal Space Center because it doesn't actually just teleport. It doesn't launch it straight from there. Instead, it actually starts building it, and then it appears in the hangar facility where you can load it at the selected launch pad. However, you do need a hangar large enough to actually contain the vessel. I was a little worried because the largest hangar, the maximum upgraded hangar wasn't big enough to hold Tenacity, but then I discovered a facility called the Large Hangar, which has basically unlimited space. It also doesn't have any model for some reason. Probably because the Large Hangar is the vacuum of space. I did attach some boosters to the side just because I don't want the deadly radiation killing all the Kerbals from the fusion engine. You may be wondering what this craft is powered by with no solar panels. It's powered by a nuclear reactor, a fission reactor. I could use the reactor on the engine because it does come with one, but I don't want to waste any fusion fuel because that stuff is really precious. I do not want to waste it. Besides, I did have a bunch of spare uranium lying around, so it probably wasn't that bad. You know, I'm gonna be sending this ship to a low Sanctar orbit just so we can easily rendezvous with it. Decouplers did stick around on the fuel tanks, so that is a minor inconvenience. Now, you'll be happy to know I did not forget antenna on this. I have two really powerful antenna. I believe that they're the most powerful ones in stock KSP. I also did add a couple more hydrogen tanks just to get some more Delta V. I did add a survey scanner just so I can look to see how much metals and uranium, or uraninite actually is, the raw uranium, is on any planets I visit, just in case I want to build a colony. Because this is going to be more than just landing on stuff, it's going to be surveying for future locations for colonies. This engine does have a high thrust and a low thrust mode. Like every engine with such options, it just gives you more thrust for lower ISP. I won't be using it just because I do want that more Delta V. Without this Delta V, I'll probably be able to do some really high-speed transfers. Then again, I don't want to refuel this that much. I mean, to refuel this, I'm either going to have to take it down to a colony, or I'm going to have to manually send the fuel up, which is going to be kind of weird. I mean, if the head cannon remains consistent, if I landed on Krog, or any other colony. It could be a colony on Trom in the future. But I do land it next to a colony, it'll kill all the Kerbals. And besides, I'm not even sure if it'll have the thrust-to-weight ratio to do that. A dedicated refueling vehicle would be cool, but it'd also be kind of annoying and not as convenient as just landing the entire thing there myself. I am doing a little test here to see how much fusion fuel the reactor uses, and it doesn't use much. Well, but then again, it was only for like a small orbit, so it's probably not going to last as long for a multi-year interplanetary transfer. I'm really proud with how this vehicle turned out. So, that was really cool. Anyway, that will be the end of this episode. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you all later. Bye!